Hello, Active Sage here on the Sage channel, and we are in Star Citizen Alpha 2.0 today to go over, well, this big old update that has occurred to Star Citizen. Now, I've been taking my time to make sure I kind of had a pretty good idea of everything that was added to this update before making this video, because honestly, it is a huge update that has launched the game farther ahead than I expected it to be this early on. Yes, the game has been in development for 3 years, but you see many games that have been in development for 2, 3, or more years that don't have the amount of polish that some aspects of this game have, and still haven't even accomplished some of the things that this game has already managed to accomplish. Please note, the total amount of content in this Alpha 2.0 release is probably around 1% or even maybe 0.5% of what the total game will be. I'll show you later on just how big the area we're in is and how big the whole universe is sort of going to build out to be. Anyway, before I go on, I should note that Alpha 2.1 is just around the corner. It is promised to release before the end of the year. What Alpha 2.1 is going to do is going to update the Vanguard ship, which is currently hangar ready, and make it even more hangar ready, basically improving some of the issues I've seen now, which is the reason why I haven't done a close look at that ship. And it's going to add the Saber to your hangar as well. If you do not know, the Vanguard is a sort of long-distance fighter capable of jumping pretty damn far out and doing some combat, and it has a few modules in it as well that you can swap out, so you can have one for, well, technological warfare, basically. Cyber warfare, I believe as they call it. Or you could swap it out to just be a living area or a weapons system. Pretty nifty stuff, that. I own one, so I will be doing a video on that once 2.1 releases. The Saber, which I've also managed to get my hands on because, well, I originally wasn't so sure about it. I went ahead and got one anyway because, oh my god, I want something as sturdy as it. The Saber is said to be sort of the Hornet's... If you know about the Hornet, it is a fighter ship, pretty heavily armored, it's ready to punch the crap out of any enemy that comes at it. Well, the Saber is supposed to be a more stealth version of a fighter, made by two different in-game companies, but this one is still pretty hefty and just more of a stealth approach. But I love the way it looks, and it's very similar to the Vanguard. Originally, when I saw some concept of it, I honestly thought it was just a Vanguard skewed in a few different ways, but it's a good design nonetheless. So you'll see an incredibly close look at that as well once Alpha 2.1 comes out, as long as that ship doesn't have some of the issues that the Vanguard originally had when it became hangar ready. Alrighty, with that out of the way, I will also say one last thing about Alpha 2.1, is they're going to be adding at least one more ship to the actual flyable world, and that's going to be the Freelancer. I did a look at the Freelancers ages and ages ago. They've actually completely redone them pretty much. They still have a very similar silhouette, but they're beautiful. They're incredibly updated. Slightly more room inside, slightly bigger, but you'll be seeing those as well once that comes out, but those will actually be flyable as well. So, with all of this Alpha 2.1 information of the upcoming patch that should be here by the end of the year, so it could be tonight, it could be the very last day of the year, let's move on to what's currently available, Alpha 2.0. And when you start up the game, if you know in the past, you've always ended up straight into your hangar, which meant you always had to sit through like a 3 to 10 minute loading screen depending on your rig, and depending on how the game felt that day. Well, now it takes you straight to this menu, which loads up in under a minute usually. So, pretty nifty. You can go to your hangar where you usually have, or if you're on the Robert Space and the Seas website, you can set up and place your ships there, so when you go to the hangar, you'll be able to take a look at them. You got your usual graphics options. We go to this, you can see we got our graphics. I'm set at high right now, 1080p. Got your audio, your control, your keybind, all this standard stuff. And you can, of course, go to advanced if you guys do not know. And you do have all these rebindability options. It's a real PC game. Oh my god! No FOV slider. Oh, sad. It'll be coming, hopefully. But that's not what you want to hear about. You want to hear about this amazing image in the background, though. So we're going to look over electronic access just really quickly. It's basically when you're in the simulator in the previous updates where you get Star Marine, the first-person combat, which still isn't here. They've done something far more impressive, but it will still eventually show up. And Arena Commander, which is just dogfighting module. Let's exit menu. And we're going to just basically go over that, which we just have, and go to Universe. And this is where you have Area 18 Art Corp, where we've walked around before, but they've added Port Olisar, which is basically that place you saw from the background. So we're going to click this and launch into Port Olisar now. Now, I will note, currently on Alpha 2.0, there are a few issues here where it might not load in. So we're going to see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe this loading screen will actually carry all the way through. In all likelihood, it won't. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut ahead to whenever I do get in, because sometimes it'll bump you back to the menu screen. Like that. Okay, fade. Alrighty, well, we have now loaded into Port Olisar! Yay! Oddly enough, I was stopped and restarted my recording, just resyncing on the menu screen, and it just went to a loading screen and put us here. But hey, we're here. That's all that really matters. And we're actually getting 50-something frames per second. I will admit that very frequently, I can't see myself in that reflection, very frequently the frame rates in this game, as they are now, have a habit of bumping up and down like crazy, or sometimes even sticking themselves at a very low point. I specifically found it troubling with shadow play, even more than fraps, I'd say. Okay, so here's where you spawn. You always spawn in one of these little covey sleepy hole things. Each of the rooms you'll just randomly spawn in are often different. Sometimes you get this one, which is pretty nice and clean. Other times you get ones that are very messy. Unfortunately, when you walk out here into Port Olisar, you can't just go into the ladies' room and stare at things. You cannot just go into the men's room and relieve thyself. No, you don't do that. Unfortunately, these doors don't work yet. Oh god, I cannot wait till every single room on every single station is explorable. Hopefully that will be the case. Let's see in here. Are you a clean one? See, this one's a bit different. You got a wrench there. What about you? This room? See, this room's far dirtier. By the way, these are actual people who are coming out of these rooms here, loading in the same way you do, because, well, I guess I didn't really say this. Port Olisar Alpha 2.0 is a multiplayer world. It's an MMO-esque world. Up to 300 people in each world. Pretty damn nifty, I think. Not too much to interact up here. I could do an extremely close look on this, but with the frame rate bouncing a bit, we're going to try to just keep to, well, some of the interesting stuff. Just please note, everything is goddamn gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Even on low settings it will be, but they don't have all the LODs, so I don't think everything is actually ticking down even if you select the low settings. But we're going to go down here. By the way, easy have, if you go through that door over there, it's just like that one over there. Just more rooms for people to spawn in. Level 2, Deck 2, currently locked down. Unfortunate. But hey, we got a window here. And is it ever beautiful? Basically, what you want to do when you spawn is go straight down those stairs on either side of this large room we're in now. And basically, she's just told you what you need to do. Press the screen to continue. Come in here and select any of these screens by pressing your interact key. I have it bound to F, I believe that's a standard. And it'll basically give you a list of any ships you own, or if the ship you own, let's say you bought a ship in a concept sale and you still have your game package to gain access, is not currently in the game, they'll give you a loaner ship, such as Origin Jumpworks 300i. I don't own that ship, but they gave me a loaner because of something else I own. Same with the Hornet. I don't own that. Same with the Andromeda. I don't own that. Merlins, I do own 2 of them because I was able to get a few for LTI and I can convert them to other things and keep their lifetime insurance later on. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and grab a Gladius, and all you do after you select your ship is, well, click Request Ship.
Your ship is currently being delivered to the launch platform.
So there we go. Our ship is now on docking bay A1. And they put this nice, super easy little reticle there to tell you where you need to go. Originally, in the pre-release version of Alpha 2.0, they didn't do that, so you had to actually follow these signs, which, honestly, I loved having to follow the signs. I hope to God, when if they do expand out these stations to be absolutely massive, they'll have a lot of things where it's like, okay, go to command deck. Where's command deck? Well, follow the signs, because that would be beautiful. What I'm doing right now is I'm simply going through an airlock. I'm cycling the airlock. By the way, there are windows here if you want to look outside. So you can just see that this place is, it's real. It's, you know, this is no trickery. We're in a huge station, and there's real people flying away. It's very impressive. Right, open back up. Awesome, it was already pressurized there. Did you see that? It didn't have to recycle. You want to come this way, buddy? I'll let him get in here. Okay, cool. He pressed the button, too. You press the control panel there in the center to cycle it. He's checking his MobiGlas. And there we go. We can come out here. And we were at landing pad 1, so we go this way. And up these stairs. And of course, we're just going to shift the sprint. And ta-da! There is our Gladius. Behind the Gladius, you'll see someone has brought down a Constellation. Pretty hefty ship. I don't think I've actually mentioned this. The Constellation, I did a pretty extremely close look walkthrough through it quite some time ago now. It's been completely reworked. I'll have to do another video at some point, because my god, is it a massive, massive improvement. A lot of illogical stuff about the interior of that ship has been reworked. Anyway, let's go ahead and fly up and just show you guys some more of this game. Oh, actually, before I do that, I should also point out some basic stuff while on foot, and actually in vehicles usually, If you do F9, like I said about the guy in the airlock, it brings up your MobiGlas. Who is firing? This area is supposed to have weapons disabled. How is somebody even firing here? Okay, we're just going to ignore that. Maybe that's them firing way out there and it's glitched out somehow. We're somehow seeing it? I don't know. We're just going to ignore that. I'll turn down the sound if it's too loud. So, F9. Yeah, so the game just crashed. It, yeah, no idea why, but it did. It is an alpha. Hence the name, Alpha 2.0. So do expect some instability. That said, let's carry on from where we had dropped off. Is F9 brings up your MobiGlas, your holographic display with some of your stuff. Most of this is not functional. It'll say coming soon when you mouse over it, but you can go ahead and look at your journal. You will have noticed a bunch of little text at the beginning there when we first logged in. A million different things. Well, look at this. You have a million different things that, if you wish, you can read through to give you some little story, lore, background, all of that. Looks like someone's about to try to steal my ship. I don't think you can actually open doors to other people's ship and hop in the cockpits. Let's click on the back button. And let's go to schedule, because this is basically your quest log. Because I actually do have a number of quests in this game, and I've gone ahead and actually done a fair bit of them. Secondary missions and missions complete, you can see here. I haven't actually, strangely enough, the game doesn't actually save your progress when you log off and log back on, which currently actually is almost alright, because since it is a somewhat limited world, it means you can log in and keep doing that. It just means, though, if your game does crash, you're going to have everything reset. So, the first and simplest of the missions is restore uplinks. Basically, go to these comm arrays, fight off enemies, and fly inside of them. I'll be showing you guys one of those in a second. And there's a secondary objective here, which is, well, it doesn't show it, but while exploring and just jumping to different things, I found a woman messaging me saying, "Hey, could you kindly assist me in tracking down some of my scouting drones? They appear to have lost contact, or they've been trying to find something, but they just can't figure out what's there." And basically you go out and discover little interesting things like destroyed ships and little bits of stories. As for just other fun things you can do in the game currently that are not necessarily missions, there's a derelict station that you can go ahead and explore. I actually went ahead and jumped on board someone else's cutlass, as in someone's cutlass was sitting on this landing pad. I got in the back of it once they were already inside, got in a random seat, and all of a sudden realized, oh, we've jumped to quantum speed. Where are we going? I have no idea. And we found ourselves at a derelict base, and I opened the door at the bottom of the ship in a panic, like pushing 20 buttons and accidentally getting in and out of the chairs and whatnot, and finally got the door open, hopped out, and I don't think they saw me, and I actually ended up spending probably an hour just floating through the interior area of that station. As I've said with Port Olisar, you can't explore everything, but there was a fair amount of stuff to explore there, which was pretty damn cool. I've also run into a PvP station, basically where they have a number of assault rifles on a door. Some guy tried to shoot me through the windows using his ship, and then I ended up spending probably half an hour to an hour just running around there before I panicked and shot at some guy who pretty much panicked as well, and then shot me, because it's a PvP station. It's what you expect to happen there. And there's also an asteroid field and some other pretty damn cool stuff. So what we're going to do is, I think I'll go to the asteroid field after we restore this comm array. So let's do F9 to close that. Please remember, it's wise to press F12, just like on our Corp. F12 brings up your chat menu, F11 brings up your contacts, and F9 brings up your augmented reality display. Did I say F9? I meant F10. F10 brings up your augmented reality display, and if you look at people on foot, it'll show you their names. Alrighty, let's go ahead and hop in our ship here, and we'll actually also get a better look at Port Olisar, and I can explain that, well, the extremely small section of the station that we actually have access to currently. Hop on up here. Small issue, please note that if you press the interact button to get into your ship and then run away while the ladder is opening, currently it'll teleport you back once the ladder's down. So just keep that in mind if you suddenly find yourself getting into a ship where you're like, wait, I walked away though. That can happen. Alrighty, let's go ahead and fly ourselves up a little bit. They've also done some changes to flight. So I'm going to fly ourselves away here, and you'll see that we're not moving at the highest of speeds. In the past, a lot of times in this game, you'll notice that ships will pretty quickly accelerate to insane speeds, but you can see on our speed check right there on the left, we're only moving at, well, 50, I guess it's meters per second. Now, I've rebound some of my keys, but now at the bottom there, you'll see that it says pre with an up arrow and SCM. This is saying that you'll go from pre to a faster speed. So if I press C, you'll see that now we've gone up to SCM, and now it's showing us a up arrow showing the cruise. Now, if I let go of any buttons and my ship slows down automatically, you'll see now it's gone to a down arrow and saying we'll go to pre. And if you push that switch mode button again, it'll switch to the lower speed mode again. And that's the lowest you can go right now is pre. Sort of pre-flight, there's this SCM, and then cruise. So if we get ourselves accelerating and then switch modes, we'll go up to cruise. And you can see our speed is skyrocketing now. Yes, indeed. You can get going pretty damn quick. And I've actually just left the armistice zone now, which means weapons are enabled. So I can fire my main gun at the front. In fact, we could go to third person and see that firing if we zoom out a little bit. All the guns on this ship are gimbaled, and our other guns. Works just like it does in the dogfighting module. I should point out, though, they have changed some of the flight characteristics of ships. So ships don't all seem to handle as similar as they did in the past. Some of them handle fairly differently. And we're going to drop out of SCMs just so we can turn around and head back to Port Olisar. If I can figure out where it was, we'll press B. B is your subwarp, or quantum drive, I should say. System, there's Port Olisar, but it also brings up, you know, the beacons for all the different places you can warp to, and is pretty useful for just finding your way. So there we go. We can head back to Port Olisar before I get too distracted by flying away to a bunch of other stuff. Pretty odd camera angle there. And once we get back there, I'll just show you the full scale, and then we'll move on to one of those outposts, the relays that you're supposed to turn back on, which is pretty damn nifty. And this is at cruise speed. This is at max cruise speed. And you see, even at this speed, it can take a while because this world is massive. You might have seen a planet there a minute ago. I believe that's a gas giant. You can't currently land on any planets, but you can look around quite a few different places. And we'll start our braking procedure here. Turn our ship around. Turn back on cruise mode now. And watch as our speed drops to that. There we go. And kill ourselves there. Not kill ourselves, but as in kill our throttle. Alright, so now you can see that Port Olisar, the thing we just flew away from and now flew back to, is pretty hefty. To get a proper feeling of its size, we're actually going to go ahead and fly ourselves up as such, like here, slow ourselves down, and line ourselves up, I think, right like this. Just stay at the speed, double tap Alt, so we can now look our head, and you see those are all the landing pads like that. We just came from one of those, and that center building there is where we came from. There's actually 4 of these spawning areas, so there's going to be quite a few landing pads. But you'll notice that there's this huge, amazing main bulk of a station here, as well as the main beam and these big spinny things for whatever reason, all of which you can't go into currently. And actually, let's just double tap Alt so we can have control of our ship again, and bring ourselves back down here. You'll notice that almost all of this stuff has windows on the sides. Look at those little yellow windows. My Lord God, do I ever just want to explore all of this. It reminds me of Alien Isolation so very much. I just want to explore inside all of this. Right now, of course, they're just a texture, but nonetheless, well, it shows you what the idea of this station could be. The idea that you could go through all these. I don't think they've confirmed that they're going to be having some sort of procedural build-out for all stations, but I sure as hell hope they do in the future. Alrighty, so with a little bit of look at Port Olisar done, very simple station, the areas that you can explore, but it's huge, and I do hope to God we'll be able to explore all of the insides eventually. And you'll see these contact things keep popping up. I'm pressing H to select friendly targets right now. We should be able to select some of them. It's not actually selecting them. It's just selecting like one guy behind me, apparently. But those are basically other people spawning in their ships and hopping in there. Anyway, let's hit that sublight thing, the quantum drive. And I think Security Post Karish is the PvP station. We can just pop over there. So, as I said, to activate Quantum, at least on my keyboard setup, you press B, and then you aim at the thing you want to jump to and press the middle mouse button. You can jump to nowhere, as in just aim out into the void and press the middle mouse button and jump. But be wary, if you do that, sometimes I've found you can end up in a spot of bother where your ship will just explode. And you can, in theory, press the middle mouse button to stop yourself and drop out of warp before you hit the edge of the world or whatnot, but it seems very finicky. Sometimes it'll go like 10 feet, sometimes, like I said, you just pop. So this is the PvP station, I'm pretty sure. Yep, this is it. Then you can land here and go inside. We're not going to do that. As I said, I've been through here once before. It was a lot of nobody's here, nobody's here, nobody's here, and I'm dead. The frame rate also in this game, as I've mentioned, can be pretty variable at the moment. So I actually had a very low frame rate when I was doing that, probably about 15 or something terrible like that. But nonetheless, pretty cool. And of course, again, you can only really explore like that center cubic station area right there. You can't go all the way up to the very top cylindrical areas or out into the outer rings or nothing cool like that yet. I'm pretty sure they're going to end up doing that eventually. Okay, let's go ahead and press B. By the way, this isn't another planet we're next to. This is actually a moon. I don't believe you can land on it. I might have seen some footage, but I'm not going to risk it because that can take quite some time to get down there. Because remember, the scale of this stuff is, well, it's real-world scale a lot of times. Just in case you are curious what happens if you do try to fly towards that planet. Your ship self-destructs. Alright, let's go ahead and Kovlak Shipping Hub. Let's see if this is what this is. Just really quickly trying to remember. Straining my poor brain. You'll also notice at the top there, it says QF fuel, like quantum fuel. And you can see it's percentage-wise dropping down as well as the actual number dropping down. Yeah, I think this is the abandoned station. Let's go ahead and get ourselves over there quicker, shall we? Hop ourselves into cruise speed.
This shipping hub is currently closed to the public.
Spin ourselves around and start decelerating.
Warning. You are trespassing on Kovlak's private property.
Where is it? Yay, there it is. That got us right up to almost perfectly. But you'd have heard that message there while I was babbling about my speeds and all this. This is a abandoned station, and they basically say, hey, this is Kovlak's property. You should not be here. What are you doing here? Shoo, be gone. Pretty cool stuff. And again, there's only really like a square area to explore here. If we were to hover up right now, hey, stop drifting so much. You can see that there is a broken open window right here that you can fly me to the moon and let me play amongst the stars. That was terrifying. Jesus, nearly collided. You gotta be careful. I'm basically letting my ship drift about. I've just floored it forward without thinking. But yeah, you can see you can basically end up going through there and just exploring the inside of the station. Very, very cool place. Alrighty, so let's leave this place and go to one of those things we said we were going to activate for real this time. Press B, comm array 556. And then we'll head to Yellow because that's the asteroid belt, which I like a lot. As I was pointing about that quantum fuel, you'll also notice that whenever I aim at any of these places, you'll see like this says it'll take 1%, 0%. It's basically telling you how much percentage quantum fuel it's going to take to get to these things. Pretty nifty. No, we don't want that. We want engage cruise. There's a contact.
This is Crusader Security. Contact. Situation now. Contact.
So, no, you didn't. Okay, the game crashed again. Alrighty, game has been restarted again.
Activated. Systems green.
Let's go ahead
Launch complete.
and fly ourselves out and get ourselves one of those beacons. That way I can show you guys what I was talking about and in this bloody video the way I intended. As I said, it's alpha. It's to be expected. It's hopeful that alpha 2.1 will improve stability of the game and we won't have so many crashes.
Quantum travel complete.
Also, you might be asking yourself, well, hold on. If this is an open world, an MMO-esque space, why are there always going to be enemies at these things? Well, enemies keep on coming. That way everyone can do the quest, basically. So, if we get out here, we can just slow up here, or get ourselves killed.
Contact.
There we go. So we're getting a scan. Finally, the enemies are pinging in. There, that's a green one. Basically, there's security forces defending all these places. Oh, that one died. Okay. On to that one. Or did it? It's still showing. And I think another one just jumped in, actually. It can be a bit glitchy sometimes, and I was on here the other day, and the game was just super, well, bumpy. Very odd. But usually the game seems like it has a reasonable amount of stability, actually, for an Alpha 2.1, which is one of the many reasons I found it very impressive thus far. Okay, cool. They were taken out. There's another enemy right there. Oh. The NPC forces are pretty good at actually taking these out most of the time.
Oh man, thanks for the assist. Things were looking a little tight. If you got a second, we could use your help with one more thing. Outlaws keep shutting down comm arrays in the area. I think disruption information flow can be an edge. We need to guard the perimeter in case they come back. Think you could EVA down and reboot the array for us?
So there you go, you heard the dialogue. The guy wants us to EVA down and reboot the array, basically go into the large station. Unfortunately, like everything else, the majority of the station is not explorable. It kind of makes more sense on this station. As you look about it, you'll notice there's none of those little nice yellow windows or nothing like that. But let's go ahead and vent up there. I should also point out Alpha 2.1, which is supposed to come out before the end of the year, is also scheduled to have some changes to the way you fly just your standard character about. Not too much, I might add, but your character will have a greater chance to ragdoll upon collision with stuff, or bounce and wiggle a bit differently than just being a static character floating about in space. Okay, and I also believe, let's press F on this.
System startup. Initiate.
Unfortunately, no cool little minigame, no like, press the right buttons, and no reading through something that says like, press 1, 4, and 8 to reactivate. So 1, 4, and then where's 8? Oh, it must be down in the second set. Nothing like that. It just turns it back on right now. Hopefully in the future we'll get more complexity to that. Really like some of these stuff from Soma. That was fantastic.
If you see any more arrays like this one, wouldn't mind you reactivating. Unofficially, of course.
And you heard the guy there, of course. Unofficially, if you run into any of these, go ahead and fix them too, eh? And so that's where the scheduler comes back into play, so we can click on the scheduler if it works. Okay, scheduler is not working now. We'll go into our ship and try it again, shall we? And you can get back into your ship with EVA. Oh, I should have also pointed out getting out of your ship in EVA is now possible just doing Control F. So hold the control button and press F, and that'll get you out of a seat. So if you find yourself stuck in a seat, kind of important, Control F will get you out of said seat. Just suggest against doing it while your ship is moving, you might kind of lose it.
System overheating.
Yeah, system
recharging.
overheating my ass.
Contact.
There we go, scheduler worked this time. And you can see your store comm arrays. If we click on that, you'll see that at the very bottom there, it's kind of hard to read, but one of them has a check mark next to it now, so pretty cool. And report to ICC scan probe for details. That's the other quest I mentioned where the one woman is basically saying, hey, I could use some help. So if you do control, or if you do B, you'll find the scan probe out there somewhere. Yeah, ICC probe right there. You could pop out and listen to her. So we just have a really quick listen to her. I quite like her voice. And then we'll pop to the asteroid field and into this. Just to give you guys an idea, there is quite a bit. There is also a few areas where you could dock or land, which will let you repair your ship or restock ammo. You just land, basically doing the M key to switch to landing mode. Target at one of the landing pads, press your middle mouse button, it should go ahead and say, okay, you're requesting landing clearance granted, and you just land there and it will repair your ship or whatnot. Okay, here we go, she should be here now. Ooh, you put us out a bit far from the station.
Tessa to random ship. Come in, random ship. Hi, welcome to the neighborhood. Second class junior cartographer Tessa Bannister reporting in. I'm the eyes behind all the ICC scan probes in the area. What these little guys see, I see. Which, yes, means I can totally see you. Right now. Anyway, there was actually a reason to why I commed. I'm sort of not allowed to leave my post. Important jump point scanning and all. So, I was hoping you might be able to help me with something. Quick question for you. This sounds serious, right?
Yes, it
It's
does.
coming from these coordinates. You should help if you can.
So, there you go. She's adorable, isn't she? I love her. Basically, you keep going out there, you do whatever she asks you to do, you come back, she gives you another quest, you keep pinging back out from this pretty awesome observation station, which, unfortunately, you could try landing here, but there's no landing points. You see, we press M and nothing happens. What was it in?
Mode.
Oh,
Engage.
it's in.
Weapons mode.
Oops. Yeah, when I said M earlier, ignore that. It was in, as in neutron, neutralize, negative. Yeah, in for landing mode. But yeah, this is a pretty cool station. And we can also press O to get our lights on. They apparently don't reach far enough. But yeah, she'll tell you to go places. You ping out there, you find the recorder, reconnaissance, or whatever she wants, and ping back to here. And you can see that's the new point she's actually put on your screen there. And if you ever get confused at what you're looking for, remember, that F9 key is your best friend. You can see, go to the ICC assist now, it actually tells you to travel to those coordinates. Little hard to see though, when everything's see-through like that. Can we actually press B and disable? No, we can't. We can't disable that. Anyway, let's go to Yale now, or Yella, I think actually is what it is, not Yale. Yella. Ah, there's Yella. And we can check out the asteroid field because, well, who doesn't want to fly through an asteroid field just to have some fun, eh? Actually, that 2909 UE031 or whatever it was is also an asteroid field. No serves, but pretty cool. Yeah, check that out. A moon stuffs. Of course, remember, if you're doing any of these quests and your game crashes, usually the quests are reset, so just keep that in mind. I have to say, I have not had as many crashes in this game over the last week as I have had today. By the way, I'm pressing H to select these. These are actual other players out here, or at least one of them should be. I guess the other one is a pirate, number 17. I have no idea what it is. But usually a lot of stuff you run into is players. And AI, actually. You get a nice mix a lot of times. Oh god, let's not crash right away. It'll be a bit embarrassing trying to get out of this asteroid field so quick for so long. There was a contact there for a second. They might have powered down some of their systems. You can do that to try to hide, and sometimes it'll be successful. Pretty cool nonetheless. Let's go ahead and just see for a T. Can I just... I guess I can't select nothing because it's just always something. But cool nonetheless. Anyways, that is Star Citizen Alpha 2.1. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do. There are derelict ships you can sometimes find out here in this area, where you can just grab a derelict ship and take it back to base. I think there's actually a quest for it. Pretty damn cool. Overall, it's great. Oh no! That was really scary. What ship was I flying around? I was flying in a Constellation last time I did this, I think. A bigger, much slower ship, but somehow I felt like I was doing better than I am in this little guy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Anyways, that's that. It's all very cool. There's a lot of stuff to explore, a lot of stuff to do. On-foot PvP in that one station, if you like. You got PvP with anybody else if you just want to shoot at them and be a dickhole. Yeah, it's all pretty nifty. And of course, the relay quests, the quest to go ahead and find whatever that woman's reporting, which I'm actually going to probably end up doing just on my own, because I do quite like her voice, and well, the quest is pretty nice too. It's very simple, but it's very cool. And of course, that derelict station to explore. And of course, there's always just having a good time going around these asteroid fields in cruise mode. Because who doesn't want to do that? And remember, a bunch of different ships. Also, remember, once the full game is done, you don't have to spend real money to keep buying ships. You just buy the game once, and then you can earn the ships in-game by doing missions, or transporting stuff, or combat, or on foot, or working on someone else's shipping and engineering, or whatever you bloody please. The full game's going to be a sandbox game. And this little tiny taste of it is far better than I expected it to be. Even though it's 3 years in, I didn't expect it to be this good so early. So oddly enough, I might have sort of almost, well, if not completely, ended my video. And forgotten to show you guys this! The ARC Starmap. Remember, I promised I'd show you guys the full extent of everything, so it's we're already in full screen, but whatever, I'll click it anyway. And it's also going to load in the ARC. A lot of, hey, just keep a heads up, this isn't done. So still, you know, could all change. Also some lore stuff, and there we go! We're in the Starmap now. Awesome. Isn't it beautiful? Huh? This isn't actually in-game. This is at robertspaceindustries.com / why is that moving? Oh, I guess it's because the whole screen is slowly rotating. It's at a different point. / Starmap. You can just basically Google Star Citizen Starmap. You should find it. It basically shows the extent of the whole systems, all the systems they want to build out. And it's pretty hefty. I mean, there's quite a few here. Quite a few. And I should point out that at the bottom right, you'll also notice there's a few jump point sort of things here, like small jump points. These are basically going to be the different ways in the future we're going to get around between all of the different solar systems. You got the medium ones too, which means small and medium ships can go through these, and then large jump points, which means all ships can go through these. Pretty damn cool. And of course, as I toggle them on and off, the star map is changing. It's pretty damn cool. You can also turn on population. It'll check and basically show you population of each area, economy. So now it's showing us the economy in each area, how well it's doing, and then a threat. Oh, all these look pretty good, don't they? maybe it's not done. Oh, right, yes, it most definitely is not done. So you can see it's a pretty amazing thing, and you can of course just right-click and drag, left-click to rotate. It's huge. So, that's a star map, right? That's a cool feature. Well, hold on. Where's this little search button down here at the bottom right? We got a search thing. Olisar? Port Olisar. Oh, look. It found something in the middle here. Port Olisar. Well, let's click on it. It's taking us to Port Olisar. That's where we just were, eh? Here's something else. What's this? Oh, if we, I believe it was middle mouse click on it. And we click information. At the top right now, formerly Kovalex Prime Shipping Hub for the system. Gundao suffered a catastrophic accident that resulted in an explosion and the deaths of all employees on board the station. Kovalex has since moved their operations to Orison directly. So, there you go. That's that station that I said one could explore that we flew by. That I have explored in a little bit in the past. Pretty awesome. You can even do routing here. And set as departure, set as destination. It'll even tell you which jump points to go through. You can even see over here. If we were to go ahead and right click and then leave. How do we zoom again? I can't seem to remember. Was it middle mouse click and scroll? Oh no, that's doing something else. Oh, how do I forget? Anyway, you can see there is a jump point over here. If we were to go ahead and click on that. Oh, I think we might have run into a glitch actually. I think that's what's happening now. These things aren't responding properly. There we go. There we go. Left click again and it deselected it. So you can see basically everything we've been looking at the whole day here has been all right here around this Crusader, the planet Crusader. That's a jump point, by the way. That's the thing that I was saying gets us between places. They're not currently in the game yet. Because all that's in the game right now is just this one planet and all the stuff about it. Everything we explored is just this right here. And they're planning on building out the majority of this, having landing zones. They've recently shown something incredible, procedural planets! And it looks pretty damn good. And I believe they're going to keep improving that, and if they decide to let us land on procedural planets, there's going to be quite a few of those to explore. It is absolutely incredible that this game has come so far, and that they look like they're actually going to continue to make progress and meet all of their lofty goals. It's pretty damn awesome. It's pretty damn awesome. And I absolutely adore that it's all coming along so well. I really should have shown you the scanning station has a very different icon here than actually looks like in real life. I say in real life, in the actual game. Scanning hub, all these little moons that we jumped around to. One of these should have that asteroid about it, but I'm not sure it'll actually show it. Pretty awesome. Anyway, that was just this one little place. That was the Stanton system. And there's all these other ones for the future. Anyway guys, that is actually it. Thank you a bunch for watching. Feel free to get Star Citizen Alpha if you already have the game. Go ahead. Update your game. Get in there and check out that little tiny slice of Star Citizen. If not, remember, you can go ahead and buy into the game for, I think the cheapest package is $30 or $40. Right now you'll get Star Citizen, you'll also get Squadron 42, a single-player experience that they're developing as well, which is looking to be pretty awesome. They're also talking about separating it out, and so they'll sell it separately in the future, but for now, they should all be in one. $30 to, let's say, $45 will usually get it. If you don't even have an account and you're signing up and buying into the game for the first time, there's also a referral system. There's a code down in the description below of this video if you'd like to go ahead and use that code. I get a little something and you get, I think, 5,000 starting credits. Even if you don't want to use my referral code, I suggest you use somebody's at least, because remember, you will get a few starting credits to the actual game once it's, well, done or farther along and they start, well, growing out the persistent universe instead of just the tiny little slice of it that we have right now, which is a pretty big chunk for most games. Oh, I am very, very happy. Hey guys, thank you a bunch for watching, and I shall see you guys and gals next time. Ta-ta. God, I love this game.